All right, boys, we're taking a look at JMU's offense and defense, kind of like a scouting preview before they go to Autzen and they play Oregon. How do they match up, and what kind of things do they do against specific personnel that I think is going to be relevant in this Oregon game? All right, this is the first possession of the game, and the reason that I'm showing you this is because they're actually going to open the game with a play action. And the reason that they're doing that is because they're a run-first team. So I'm looking at this, and when I see a situation like this, I'm seeing a tendency breaker. And the first thing that you're going to notice is the quarterback's legs are probably one of their most dangerous weapons. I would say their running back is their most dangerous, and their quarterback's legs are probably number two. So this is a good example of how they put defenses in conflict in the run game. Again, using their two best weapons, right? You have your running back and your quarterback's legs. And I'm going to show you guys multiple clips of QB keepers, QB counter off of this. Like, a lot of eye candy at first. But to me, when I'm looking at it, one of the giveaways that you're about to get some type of like run with a QB tag off of it is actually the alignment of the tight ends, right? Like, look at how far we are off the ball. Okay. So if I see that, I know we're pulling. We got to be, right? At least one of them's pulling. So what are they running? Well, he's got a keeper tag, so he's reading the defensive end. So the read here is to hand the ball off. Okay, but this is just one of the ways that they hurt you, is they make you, like, they get a +1 in the box based on reading the defensive end, but they do it in creative ways. It's not ways like the old school read option like you would see, with the Chip Kelly teams. So I'm going to show you guys back-to-back plays and pretty much go over what they're trying to do here. So this is 1st and 10 on the 31. So you're going to get a bunch. So you get 3 threats to the field, and then the backs offset. And they're basically running a sweep play, like just regular old outside zone into it. And they do this a lot. So they'll hit you with condensed formations, and then they'll hit you with spread formations, but it's still 3 to the field. So they're basically testing like how you're going to defend gaps, whether there's plus numbers or whether it's more advantageous for them to spread you out with the same style of runs, right? And the reason that they do this, the style of runs that they're doing, is because we're reading off of someone each time with our quarterback. That's why you see the running back where he's in and the types of runs that they're running. And later in the second half in this game, they actually make an adjustment. They start running counter, and they start running like inside. But that's a whole different deal. But basically, almost identical to the play that we were just in, right? Instead of bunch, you have trips to the field again, right? But this time, I mean, it's still stretch, basically, like outside zone. But you can see now we're reading a +1, right? So we're getting ourselves an advantage. So we got 3rd and 4 from midfield here. This is one of the ways that they do attack you, and they attack you through the air. So we have a bunch nasty to the boundary here, which just means gun bunch, right? And then the back's to the side of the bunch, and it's a condensed formation. So 4 guys to a side, basically. And what we're going to get is we're going to get mesh rail. So if you don't understand mesh rail, basically, so they're going to motion him out. He's going to be over there. Mesh is just 2 drag routes and then a spot route with the running back rail as your alert. So I think we get a bust here from the tight end. And the reason that I'm going to say that is I think he just blows the play up. So we're going against a zone drop. And usually in zone, what you want to do, snap the ball. Here we go. Okay, so usually against zone, when you're running mesh, you want these two. Well, somebody's got to sit, right? But we want to sit over here and over here. Or in his case, if he sees grass, keep running. Okay, but what we get from the tight end here is he ends up sitting right in between these two. But this is the depth of your spot route. So these two are basically in the same spot. And he sees that. Quarterback sees it, and he takes off because there ain't a whole lot he can do. And I want you guys to see this from the end zone cam. And the downside to it is, hindsight's 20/20, but Buddy's got grass right here. Like that's your read number 3. Or depending on what coverage they're in, that's actually read number 1. But I'm not sure how JMU teaches, how they have their reads set up for them. But yeah, let's see end zone cam here. You're going to be able to see exactly like the depth that the tight end ends up just covering that spot route. There's really nowhere for him to go. I mean, you can see his eyes, like he's looking straight at it. He sees both of his teammates line up in the same spot, and it's like, dude, where am I going to go? Yeah, you're going to start running. And that's what he does, is like a lot of what his game is if 1 and 2 aren't there, like we're probably not going to click to 3, and we're just going to get out of the pocket. 3 by 1. So 1, 2, 3. And we're going to get a flood concept, so he's on a clear out. I believe he's on a deep out, and he's to the flat. So yeah, flood to the field, and I think we just, as a QB, we're just clicking through our reads a little bit too fast. He's just really eager to hit the check down. I mean, he doesn't really even let this play develop at all. Like, we snap it. I don't know what we're seeing that we don't like. I don't see pressure in his face, really. So, I mean, look at his eyes, right? We're looking... I mean, nobody's really getting pushed off the spot. That's a clean pocket, and we just click through and we hit a running back. But that would be my critique for the day. 2nd and 7 in the red zone here, and they're going to go screen game, which is, again, one of the many ways that they attack you. So it's basically a running back screen to the field. And you have 3 defenders over here, 3 wide receivers over here, and the tight end's offset, so we're going to get a motion to get a +1 here. And if JMU is going to compete in this game against Oregon, we got to get better effort from 15 here on this. I mean, there's 2 things that I'm going to talk about that you can't do against Oregon. Oregon's fast, so he gets beat here because we're a little bit inefficient with our angle, but we're also not running as hard as we probably could. And we decelerate because we're afraid we're going to get beat. And guess what happens as soon as we decelerate? We get beat. Like, we know we over pursued, and this play gets blown up for a loss, and we had plus numbers to the side. Now, what sucks about it, not only did we have plus numbers, but the wide receiver blocking, I think, is pretty interesting here. So they're going to end up going 1, 2, 3. And I get it, because you're isolating your best player with a safety, and usually when you're running the ball, that's kind of the goal. But something that I would consider doing from a blocking standpoint, I would have done him to the safety, him to the nickel, and him to the linebacker. And the reason for that is that even if he gets the ball, we know he's going to have to cut inside based on this angle. So we're going to get it, fake outside, cut inside, and that's the money shot. So yeah, I wouldn't make him make the play. I would make him make the play. This is a 1st and 10, brand new possession. Remember how they ran that play action first play of the game? So this is more likely what their possessions are going to start out with, like on a down in and down out basis. I'm only showing you guys this because it's a run. That's pretty much it. Like, just first snap of the possession is a run. It turns into an explosive from some poor tackling is what I would call it. But I mean, this is why they do what they do. They just want to give this kid the ball as many times as they can. So he's a great athlete, and he just keeps his legs churning, and you got to wrap up better than that. And I would expect Oregon to wrap up better than that. But if you don't, this is the kind of speed you're dealing with. So earlier I was talking about how, like, they run halfback sweep with QB counter attached to it. This is exactly what I'm talking about, and it goes for an explosive here. The running back here, he's got incredible burst. I mean, there's a reason he's over 1,000 yards on the year. He's just got... it takes him like 1 or 2 steps to get to full speed, and he does it in the backfield. So you really cannot give him the edge, and it's so difficult as a defense because what you're dealing with is you're dealing with his speed, but also his speed, and they just complement each other so well as far as like taking defenders in and out of the equation, right? If you crash down too hard on one, you give up edge to the other, and vice versa. So it's just they work well off of each other, man. Basically, we're going to get a stack with a switch release. One of them is going to take a deep over, and then the other one's going to be a vertical. And then this is a vertical. And what they're looking for is this drag underneath. This is a really old school. It's basically like a wide receiver screen without blocking. The goal is pretty much just to clear out all of this area and then hit the drag running into grass. What you're going to get is, well, he's not going to be running into grass because the defense here just does a phenomenal job of not only reading it but matching to it. And I think we throw it a little bit early. I don't know. I mean, I'm sure they're coaching it to like, I mean, he just got incredible pursuit is really what it is. He just chases him down. It's like straight line speed. Like he is just faster. But no, what we're going to miss here is we're going to miss him running to grass. I mean, this kid stumbles, and it's tough because I know that they're coaching this as the read. Like there's no, you call this play, you know it's going to the drag. Like there's not a question about it. You either like the look or you don't like the look. But I know when they saw that on tape, that one probably hurt. At this point, a lot of what we've seen is run game, quick screens, and quick passing concepts. But what they save for when they're in plus territory and like a shot territory, like just first down, just outside the red zone, he's got a really nice touch pass. I mean, he can float the ball up there, and if they can get separation, I mean, they are dangerous. So obviously you got to stay disciplined with your eyes, but he's got an underrated touch pass is what I'm trying to say. It's not something that the way that they play, you would assume that he can't do this, and then he does it. This is going to be the last offensive play that I'm going to show you guys before we flip the defense. I just wanted to give you one example of quarterback run explosive. This is like late in the game, like I think it's either third or fourth quarter or something like that. But sweep, same outside run style, and then we're going to get a QB keeper off of it. I actually think it's power that he's faking it off of. But still, yeah, he's fast, man. Don't let him get outside. It's like they both play the edges, so you got to be disciplined on both sides of the ball. Flipping over to the defensive side of the ball, the first thing that stands out to me on their defense, besides that they're like a quarter man match team, which I'll go over in a second, they communicate really well. So we're just going to watch them as this guy motions. Like we're communicating who's going where and what's happening here. And a defense that is well coached is generally one that communicates a lot pre-snap and post-snap, depending on what the call is. So we're going to get basically four threats to the field here, and they're in it's a match, right? So it's kind of like a cover 7. The nickel is reading number 2. The safety is reading number 2. And basically, if 2 goes vertical, nickel keeps him, and that means safety's on number 3. Corner outside is Meg, so man everywhere he goes on the number 1 receiver. And it's a weak side rotation, so the safety is going to come up over here and play the top. And obviously these guys are going to match, so the number 3 receiver breaks out, and that triggers him to take him. And this linebacker now becomes your true flat defender in the event that the back is fast to the flat. But what you're looking for, well, in this specific case, I mean, there's different rules that they could have if the play call is different, right? Like if the back is the one that comes up and then runs that route and 3 goes in, then this linebacker would end up taking him, and the safety would pass it off and take the back. But that's basically the rules, right? So the entirety of this whole match, like we know he's in lockstep but it's based on what the nickel and the safety read from the number 2 receiver. So Oregon does this as well. Okay, this is what modern defenses do. This is how they handle 4x4 threats to a field, or 3x1 sets, or bunch, or whatever. This is just one type of coverage and match style, and this is a man match team. I think in the Oregon game, something that's going to bite them though is this. And what I mean by that is Oregon has elite speed, elite top end speed. So they might just take your one-on-ones because they know that they're going to get them. Like, these guys just run tough stuff to deal with. So you get double mug. They run a lot of sim pressures, which is why you're going to get double mug. Man, well, this is actually just cover 1, right? But it's tough to tell. Double mug. But he's in mod rules. So quarters teams will do this, right? Basically, mod rules is he has zone eyes, is basically what it means. So he's watching the cue, and then after the snap, he's alert to any in-breaking routes. That's the whole point. But it's still man-to-man. And that's why this gets boxed, because he's alert to it. Right? That route, at least. So, no, these guys, it's hard to diagnose, right? Because if you're the Q, like, he can't see the depth. From his point of view, this just looks like a too high. And the only way you know it's not is because he's lined up directly over him. And he's got him. You can see he's in man. So that's the giveaway, right? It's the nickel and the safety. But it's tough to tell that kind of depth. And he's just staring you down. And you got all these linebackers lined up in your face. I mean, it just causes problems, right? And if one of your reads is to check that field corner, like, he's staring straight at you too. So is it man? Is it zone? Like, it's just one of those ways that they play with you as a quarterback. This is gonna be the last snap that I show you guys on defense, and I'm not gonna go super duper far into it, but what I want to show you basically is that it's a sim pressure that gets a full slide from the offensive line, and I mean, I don't think Oregon's offensive line is going to handle a look like this the same way that the Troy Trojans' offensive line did, but it's just another example of the problems that these guys can cause for you. Yeah, we're going to get a full slide to the right and here, and it's a four-man sim pressure, and we get 2 guys hot. I mean, that is a big no-no if we're an offensive line, but yeah. So, again, I mean, it's just another one of those teams where you got to be on top of it as far as like a pass protection standpoint goes. Anyway, that's all I got.